Welcome back, guys, to the Full Force Father podcast. Episode 50. We have reached half a century, Dave. Congratulations.
Episode 50. I can't believe we're almost at a year. 1 year celebration coming soon, but I can't. I know how you doing. How am I doing? I'm doing great. This is episode 50, which is a tremendous list of numbers. So can we just get started on it?
Okay, we're jumping right into the list today. Dave does not want to wait. We are jumping right into famous number 50s. And I'm going to start, and then I'm just going to shut up for a few minutes, okay? The first two names on this list are not the two greatest number 50s of all time. We'll get to the greatest number 50 in a few minutes, but we are going to totally talk about the two greatest 50s in UConn history, and that being Emeka Okafor, part of the greatest men's basketball team, my favorite college basketball team of all time, and Rebecca Lobo, part of the greatest women's team of all time. So, Dave, jump right in. Let's go, Emeka Okafor. Talk about it now.
Emeka Okafor, right here, baby.
Yeah.
Charlotte Bobcats, the old Charlotte Bobcats jersey.
Yeah.
Dude, Emeka Okafor is just one of my favorites of all time in UConn history. I mean, I don't know if it gets much better. On the court, off the court, like he was just unbelievable. I forgot how many languages he knew. He was just such a great student, and he was just always such a good basketball player. I mean, the way he could block shots was unlike anything else. He had a little, 15-foot jumper he could knock down, no problem. He dominated inside. He was phenomenal. I only went to one Big East tournament in my life from start to finish, from beginning to end, and it was the 04 tournament. And man, it was so much fun, and watching that team just rally and go all the way to the national championship and just, handle business. Like it was, God, that team was just so good. I loved it. And then I was also a huge Orlando Magic fan back in the day. And when Okafor came out, Orlando had the first pick in the draft, and it was either him or Dwight Howard. And I know Dwight Howard was a beast, and he was the better basketball player. But I was all in on drafting Okafor. I wanted him to go to the Magic so bad.
He was the absolute perfect epitome of just an all-time great college player. There's another guy on this list named Tyler Hansborough, who everyone knows. Same thing, great college player. Just never, wasn't going to be a great NBA player. But Okafor, and I want to talk about Rebecca Lobo here, man. Like I know Okafor gets the credit because really quickly that roster was just one of the most disgusting rosters in the history of college basketball. You had Okafor, you had Charlie Villanueva as a freshman, Ben Gordon, who went. Didn't they go 2-3 in the draft that year? Or did they go 2? Yeah, they went 2, then 3rd. Then Ben Gordon went to the Bulls or the Pistons, I think, that year. On that roster. You had Marcus Williams as a freshman, Hilton Armstrong, Talik Turnover Brown, right? Hit the biggest shot in his career at the top of the key 3 at the Big East tournament. You had Josh Boone was a freshman, Marcus White, Rashad Anderson, Denham Brown. I mean, that team was just unbelievable. It just the top to bottom. They were the best roster in the year, and everyone forgets that year. Emeka Okafor, we had the best comeback in college basketball history when we were losing to Duke, right, in the Final Four, and we came back, and then we just steamrolled Georgia Tech, who I love more than anything because we literally got revenge on Georgia Tech. We lost to them in the preseason NIT at Madison Square Garden, and then we beat them down in the championship game.
Well, Emeka Okafor had 2 fouls in the first minute and a half. Yeah. In that semifinal against Duke, and you know how Calhoun, if you had 2 fouls, you were out, and you never came back till the start of the second half. That was just his thing, and we knew it. We're like, all right, he's not coming back, and he sat and he sat and he sat. But man, when he came out in that second half, and the fact that it was Duke, fucking loved it.
Yeah, we were number 1 for a lot of that season, and I want to go down. I remember those. I remember all those games, man. We ended up losing some stupid games that year. We lost to Providence that year. I'll never forget. We can't forget that we lost to Georgia Tech early in the game in the preseason NIT semis. We lost to Georgia Tech. We lost to Providence that year, and then we actually had 2. I remember this. I remember this schedule like it's going. We went 33-6 that year. We lost 2 really good teams because everyone forgets Pittsburgh was really good that year. We lost at Pitt. They were number 4 in the country at the time. All right, and we lost at North Carolina that year, and then we lost the rivalry game. We lost at Syracuse that year, and I think Syracuse was ranked that year too. And then our 6th loss that year was that shit loss to Notre Dame. I'll never forget. But that team was 33-6.
Did we split with Pitt that year? Did we play two against
yes.
them? Is that the one that Talik Brown got on the table and he was just giving everybody the finger?
We beat him by 3 at home.
Oh, that was okay. So that's not the one.
And then we lost by 7 on the road.
Okay, I remember that year. What I don't remember that was when he got up on the free. Oh no, that was Khalid El-Amin, wasn't it?
That may have been longer.
I think it was El-Amin at Pitt. I just remember somebody getting on the table and just giving everybody the finger.
Yeah, but that Duke game, man, we won 79-78. I'll never forget that Duke team.
That Duke game was awesome. I actually have an interesting memory from that. The same night, my college roommate and I had bought tickets to go see Ludacris at Mohegan Sun. And so we had tickets to go see Ludacris. So I had my parents at the time. This was when you had to record stuff on VHS. Yeah. So they recorded the game and they had it queued up on the VCR right at the tip for us. So we got back from, he was a big UConn fan too. So we got back from the concert. We just listened to a CD, and this was before you had alerts on your phone and all that stuff. So we were able to just completely disengage. And we got out of the concert, and we just went like this, like down the hallway.
Tunnel vision.
Yeah, tunnel vision. We didn't want to see anything, hear anything. We just got to the car, got in, went home, and flipped on the game and got to watch it and zip through the commercials, which was great. I mean, that was just so awesome, that game. So
no. And like I said, I got to give credit where credit's due, because the beginning of the UConn dynasty was the UConn women. It was not the UConn men, as everybody knows. Gino Auriemma is one of the greatest coaches of all time across any sport. He's up there with Wooden. He's up there with Saban. He's up there with Belichick. Gino is just unbelievable. Yep. And that 1995 women's team that won their first ever national championship game with Gino, Rebecca Lobo, number 50, is probably, could be, outside of Taurasi, Sue Bird, she's probably the most famous UConn women's basketball, because she went on to have a good WNBA career and also had she still broadcasts. She has a great broadcasting career. But that team that went 35-0 and they beat Tennessee was just so amazing. And I'll never forget the girls on that roster, because there's those rosters, like the 04 men's team, that 95 women's team, you just don't forget. You had Carol Walters, Rebecca Lobo, Jen Rosati was on that team, Carla Berube, Nikisha Sales, I think, was a freshman on that team.
Wow.
You have one of his assistant coach, Jamel Elliott, was on that team. That roster,
that's right,
was 30. That team was 35-0, and that is what set up everything. And that's when they were beating teams by like 70 points a game. Like, I'm not kidding you. I think they did beat someone that year by 80. I'm gonna see if I can pull their schedule up quick while we're on here. But Rebecca Lobo, number 50. I'm gonna see. Hold on. I'm gonna see if I can pull up the schedule.
Yeah, she was.
They beat, let me see, 1994,
so
1995, UConn women's schedule. Here it is. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, first game of the season. I know it was against Morgan State, right? They beat Morgan State by 80 points,
80 points.
107-27. They beat somebody.
Yeah, I'm scrolling through the same thing. I don't think there was ever a game that was in single digits.
They had a 10. They beat Kansas, it looks like, by 10.
10.
They won all the Big East tournament games by 40. They only beat Tennessee by 6, but their Stanford Final Four game they won by 17. They number 3 Virginia. The Elite Eight game was only a 4-point game. That was a close game. Every other game was a blowout.
Yeah,
it's disgusting. Anyways,
it's ridiculous.
Rebecca Lobo, number 50, phenomenal. See, they kickstarted the UConn dynasty. No doubt about it. And UConn was on top of the basketball world. I would argue from 94. 95, they didn't win another title, don't forget, because then you had Shamika Holtz calling those Tennessee teams win three in a row. But ever since 99, UConn men's basketball and women's basketball they dominated for over a decade. I mean, dominated.
They sure did.
But anyway, so moving on. Other number 50s, the greatest number 50 of all time, and it's hands down time close. It's the Admiral. It's David Robinson. The dude scored 71 in the game. He's got titles with Duncan. He was phenomenal. The midshipman, he's from Navy. You know what I mean? I don't know. There's not too many sailors that are 7 feet tall. I mean, can't
imagine him walking around a ship. He bang his head everywhere.
Does he not have the greatest nickname of all time, the Admiral? Like, that's like, dude, that's how you don't get a better nickname than that, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, but anyways, so just like last week's episode, 49 was very pitcher centric, baseball centric. 50 is very NBA center centric, right? Okafor, Rebecca Lobo as a center, David Robinson. You have, I already mentioned Tyler Hansbrough, Ralph Sampson, the all-time great, Zach Randolph, Corey Maggette. It's very much a basketball center centric. number. And there's the baseball names that I saw you noticed on here. Who's up? Baseball? Obviously, I want to say one baseball.
Betts, man.
Yep, Mookie Betts. He's a great player. Great player.
I mean, he's phenomenal. Yeah. Absolutely phenomenal. I still can't believe the Red Sox let him go.
Yeah.
Adam Wainwright.
My favorite. One of my favorite pitchers.
Great.
I love Waino because you know me. I like the Cardinals. I root for the Cardinals.
Yeah.
So Adam Wainwright.
Yeah.
And then for
you had Mike Singletary on here.
That one's
Mike Vrabel.
That Singletary's for Frank because obviously everyone knows Frank.
There you go.
He's the biggest Bears fan that outside of living in Chicago you can be. And Singletary, who also coached the 49ers. Don't forget he was the head coach of the 49ers for a while. Justin Houston who was with the Chiefs. He's no longer with the Chiefs. He's current. Mike Vrabel, still to this day, 2 touchdown catches in the Super Bowl. From a linebacker position, he caught one in back-to-back years from Brady. He caught one in 2003 and he caught one in 2004 when they played the Panthers and the Eagles.
Pretty awesome.
Still, the only time I ever rooted for the Eagles in my life was that 2004 team because they had T.O. on that team, and T.O. is my favorite football player of all time. And he broke his ankle in the playoffs, or late in the season, and slept in a hyperbaric chamber for 6 weeks, and still came out and had 9 for 100 something in the Super Bowl against the Patriots. I'll never forget. On a non-healed broken leg. And then for you, I did throw another hockey player in here. Don't know who he is, but he's obviously important. He's a 2-time Stanley Cup goalkeeping. He was the goalkeeper for the Chicago Blackhawks. Corey Crawford. He was the goalie for 2 years. He won 2 Stanley Cups as their goalie. So that means that's kind of a big deal if you're the starting goalkeeper on a Stanley Cup winning team. You know what I mean? So.
That is a big deal. I think the most I know about the Blackhawks or their players is when Clark Griswold wore the jersey and they had Christmas Vacation. That's about as much as I know about the Blackhawks.
No, they have another famous player, recent. Patrick Kane. The last name Kane. He was a very famous hockey player.
Oh,
pretty sure he played for the Blackhawks. He's about the only guy that I know. But I want to ask you a question. We've been because it's led to so many arguments on the show. We stopped debating what seeds numbers are. We just say good or bad now because
this is a top 2 seed. This is a phenomenal. It's a top 2 seed. This is phenomenal.
This is a great list. Do you think this is a
sneaky good list? It's 2 or 3.
I think you're skewed because of Okafor.
I don't know. This is a pretty.
How many Hall of Famers are on this list?
An all-timer. I mean, David Robinson's a Hall of Famer.
Yep. Mookie will be.
Ralph Sampson's a Hall of Famer, right?
Yeah. Singletary's a Hall of Famer.
Mookie Betts is going to be a Hall of Famer. Mookie Betts will be.
Singletary is.
Wainwright
maybe end up. He's going to get on a list to become one. I don't know if he'll get in. I'd say this is a 4 seed.
I mean, Rebecca's got to be in the Hall of Fame for women's hoops.
Yeah. This would be a 4. I mean, I don't think this is a 2 seed. I think it's a 4, but
I don't know.
Maybe
we're getting close to March though, because we are going to rank these. We're going to rank these.
We are going to do our rankings.
Find out.
So be ready. That is an episode that's on the horizon. We will have our March Madness tournament of numbers, and we are going to argue like assholes on this podcast to see who comes out on top. Okay. Just because 23 has Michael Jordan doesn't mean they're winning the tournament, okay? That's all I'm going to say.
That's right.
That's right. And we also have to debate things. We're getting off topic, but we have to debate. Does Kobe go as 8 or 24? We got to remember, we got to put where these numbers go because Kobe can't be both. He can't be on the 8 and the 24. LeBron can't be on the 6 and the 23. You know what I mean? He's got to be.
Yeah, you're right.
So that will be up for debate when we get to that. But I do think this is a stellar list. Episode 50 has a great list. Okay. And this show is all about lists today because our main topic is going to be a list. But before we jump into the main topic of the show, I just want to give a happy heavenly birthday to my brother. We release shows on Tuesdays. We record on Sundays. His birthday actually is at the end of this week, but it would be before the next show. So I didn't want to do it belated. So just these few days before, my brother would have been 38 this year. So, I mean, he wasn't a dad, but he would have been a fucking damn good dad if he had the chance to become one. I know he's up in heaven. He's looking down on us. And you know, he's loving on this show because if there was any person in this world that wanted to debate numbers with us, my brother would be in here throwing fists, just trying to debate numbers with us, which would have been really, really cool. So happy birthday to my
I would have been
brother.
outnumbered.
Yeah. He was great human. And, so, but anyways, jumping into the Bible verse. So happy birthday, Dustin. Bible verse today comes from Isaiah chapter 40, verse 31. Isaiah is a long book in the Bible. So if you get the opportunity to read it, take your time, read through it. But today comes from Isaiah 40:31. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Okay? Pick yourself up. Keep going. You have hope in the Lord. He's going to get you on the right path. He's going to keep you moving in the right direction. And I feel like the tie into today's main topic is the soaring on eagles' wings, right? Running and not growing weary, walking and not be faint, because I want to kickstart today our episode. I'm going to call it our winter is almost over episode, but it's not our spring episode yet. So it's like, I'm calling this our winter's almost over, bring on spring episode. So I want us to fly into spring on eagle's wings. I want us to run, not walk. I don't want us to crawl. I want us to get through these last few weeks of winter and just fucking smash spring right in the face is what I want. That's what I want. So that's why I picked that Bible verse today. Have faith in him, and we're going to be rolling into spring on the right foot forward, okay? So I want to kick off spring season in a full sprint. And I wanted to bring this list to you, like just 5 ways to kickstart your end of winter into spring. And I want to bring this list into play today because most everybody, not everybody, outside of the few, Dave, myself, Carp, some of those guys that we know that aren't 75 hard, and it's just some of those regular old badasses that live 100% life all the time. Everybody's failed on their New Year's resolutions. Wouldn't you agree, Dave? Don't you? I mean, I think that's pretty known by now. You're how many weeks since New Year's?
I would say the vast majority. 8.
What are we? Almost 8 weeks since New Year's, roughly.
Yeah.
I think everybody that is the normal dip your toe in the water, they've fallen off the wagon, or however the hell you want to say it. Okay. And I just I wanted to bring a list today of just 5, and I think we could have made this list 100 things. Just 5 things that you can do right now to kickstart you into gear. Okay, to hit spring running, and be looking forward to spring. All right, and the first thing I want to mention, and we're going to go through this list, and if we want to add, we're probably going to go back and forth a little bit on it. And if Dave wants to add a few things, I'll add a few things here and there. The most important thing that you can do right now to kickstart yourself, and I think it starts right when you wake up in the morning, create a morning routine. If you've listened to us in the past, Dave, I know we stress this a lot, like a lot, because your morning dictates your entire day. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're 100% right. And for the longest time, I struggled with this. Like I had the things I would do in my morning, but I didn't have structure around them. And I think part of that was the inconsistency of having to be at an office every day when I was working from home or whatever it might be. But since I've been in this new role, I've been getting up at the same time every day. I go for my workout in the morning. I do my daily standard. I do my picture. I do all these different things in the morning that I know are going to happen like clockwork. I read my pages, all these things that set me up for just a successful day and put me in a better headspace, a better physical space. Like everything is just headed in the right direction because of a morning routine.
Absolutely. Statistics are out there, read and just Google it, right? But 92% of highly successful people, whatever you define as success, everybody defines success differently, but 92% of highly successful people have a morning routine and they do not stray from it. Okay. You are going to boost your productivity levels by having a morning routine. You're going to reduce stress by having a morning routine. You're going to have more energy throughout the day. You're going to be in a better mood throughout the day. Your overall health will improve. Okay. And I'm not saying your morning routine has to be mine, because mine's a little bit extreme, or Dave's. Everyone's going to have a different, but consistency is the key to your morning routine. Create your morning routine. And I'm not saying wake up in the morning and go to Dunkin' Donuts, eat a dozen donuts. That's not a morning routine. I mean, no. Put some thought into it. What's a good time to wake up where I feel like I can get everything accomplished and be, and not be rushed in the morning? What's a healthy breakfast that I can eat? What kind of exercise can I fit in before I go to work or my day gets going, right? Think of it. Stop and think about it. Don't just wing it. Create it. But then once you do create it, the key to this is consistency. Be consistent with your morning routine. Okay. Number 2 on the list, Dave, what is it?
Read every day. Start reading every day.
I love
it. Doesn't have to be a ton. You don't have to read, a book a week or anything like that. Just do some reading. 75 hard is what we kind of get accustomed to, is 10 pages a day. You're going to pick up some books where you're like, 10 pages is good for today. You're going to pick up other books where you read 30, 40, 50, 60 pages before you even realize it, because you're just so into it. But read every day and make it something that you do to help better yourself. Pick up a personal development book, do that. But even if it's not personal development, even if you just, you want to read a fiction book just to pull yourself away and do something different, good. That is better than watching TV and watching some nonsense on television and being in front of a screen, which we all do too much anyway. So just pick up a book and go somewhere comfortable, somewhere where you can just kind of focus on that and just immerse yourself in it. And you're going to find a lot of benefits in that.
Yeah, no. The one statistic that I did find here, and once again, all these things that we're adding, we've probably done full-length episodes on, but we want to kickstart your ass in gear, and we're going through them. This was the stat, just like the paycheck to paycheck stat from a couple of weeks ago, that was mind-boggling to me. 51% of American adults have not read a book in the past year or more. Half of the population. That is insane to me.
Yeah, that's a staggering number. I mean, I'll be honest. Years ago, I wasn't into reading. It wasn't my thing. But I think a big part of that came from when we were in school. You were forced to read books, certain books. You couldn't just pick a book. You were forced to read a certain curriculum of books. And you had a little bit more freedom where they're like, oh, hey, just bring a book in and read a book. I think I might have been more into it. But the last few years, I have really gotten into it. I've read a lot of books, varying in topics. And it's just something about it. When I read it, it's a good chance for me to decompress, focus on something else, put all the technology away. And it's made a big difference in my life. I know that.
Yeah. And reading, it's just, I'm with you. I read a lot. I've read more in the last 3 years than I have in the previous 10. But I think part of that is we were forced to read when we were in school, right? High school and college, it was forced reading, and nobody likes to be forced to read. But, 75 hard 3 years ago has kind of changed everything in the sense of why I read and why I look at reading. So I'm glad you brought that up. I also think reading, keep your brain sharp, keep your mind sharp. Okay. You're going to be less stressed. All right. You read to learn. You have a less chance of cognitive decline in your older years because reading keeps your brain sharp. So pick up a book. This is the cool thing about reading. It could be, like you said earlier in this segment, it could be whatever. You can read whatever the hell you want. Fiction, nonfiction, whatever. Just pick up a book and read it. Get your mind away from stuff and read. Okay. The third thing on this list, this is a kickstart to your spring cleaning, right? Why not kickstart your spring cleaning by cleaning out your cabinets, right? Your junk food. I'm specifically talking of food here. Okay. Clean out your cabinet of junk food. Okay. If you can't read the ingredients on the label, it's not good for you. If you can't create it in your kitchen, like I said last week, it's not good for you. All right. And it means it's processed. It's garbage. Get rid of it. Keep it up. And then like I said, I tell people, if you want to keep it, then you will keep going to the doctors more for every ailment under the sun, because our diet ties into so much in our life. All right. But keep it simple. And I'm not saying you have to get rid of all your processed food in a day. Okay. I like a peanut butter egg. Not going to lie. I like a piece of cake every once in a while, or a piece of chocolate, or whatever the case may be. I'm not saying you have to go from full-on obese McDonald's eater 3 times a day to health food nut, eats kale. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying do a little spring cleaning in your freaking cabinets, and you will see major, major differences in your life. All right. And keep it simple. Whole foods, fruits, vegetables, right? It's just keep it simple. Dave, what have you done? What have you changed this go around in 75 hard with your diet?
Yeah, eating whole foods and not eating any processed junk. I mean, my body feels completely different. And I had talked about food labels with you in the past. I also talked about him with Carp. He's somebody that kind of dove into that as well. And it's amazing the stuff that goes into these things, like you said, that you can't even say or pronounce, let alone know what in the hell it is. So cleaning out that pantry is a good thing, because it is. If it's there, you're going to go to it, and you're naturally just you're going to fall into that, and eventually you're going to break. Yeah. So get out of the house and just eat better with it.
I'm glad you brought up Carp, because Carp and I had a good conversation about this the other day. Speaking of, what's in the pantry and food and gut health and, how much better you feel, how much more energy you have, and things like that. And Carp's a big proponent. I mean, I know he said he'll never be a guest on the show, but I think Carp, I know you're listening, and one of these times
we're wearing him down.
We're gonna force you on the show. I'll tie you in a chair and duct tape your ass down, shove a mic in your face, turn the camera on, and it'll be a forced entry on the show. Because I really do want to get, Carp has got a daughter and she's growing up and all that good stuff. So I do love, we talk to him every day, all the time. And I'd love to have him on as a guest. But yeah, he's a big proponent of the food stuff, baking your own breads and all that good stuff. Mm-hmm. This next one, Dave, number 4, I want you to take and run with it. I put it in here, but I know you're going to talk about it.
Yeah. Take a look at your finances. Really take a deep look. Have you been creating a budget? If you haven't, it's time to create one. It's not about just looking in the bank and seeing how much money you have there every month at the end of the month. It's about really dictating where your money's going, giving every dollar a name, using that budget every single month. And I guarantee you're going to find some money there, right? You're going to clean up spring cleaning. You're going to clean up the way you handle money. You're going to start handling it the right way, and you're going to have so much more of it because of it. There's a lot of things out there. You made a great note in here. Subscriptions. How many subscriptions do you have? I just took stock of the subscriptions we have for some of the streaming services. We just got rid of a few because we never use it. We never use it, and we shouldn't be just sitting there in front of the TV all the time anyway. So you know what? Out it goes. Because those things can add up. A lot of dollars a month go to those things, and when you multiply those by the months in a year, if you're not even using them, how much money you're just wasting that's going out the window.
Right. Yeah, no, I put that in there. We want to be disciplined in all of our lives, and discipline involves your finances. You don't get to pick and choose where you want to be disciplined. You have to be disciplined in all aspects, not just fitness, not just health, not just food, not just this. And listen, whether you want to admit it or not, maybe most people are scared to admit it. Finances are a huge part of your everyday life. It's a major part of your life every single day. Every day you're affected by it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, we're talking about spring cleaning, clean out the house, see what you can sell, make some more money, get rid of things, clean up. Because, there's going to be stuff that you probably haven't used in years that you could sell and use it to whatever financial goals you have.
Yeah. And number 5 on here, rounding out the list. I wish this is where I really would love to have Carp on here, because this is where Dave called me a hippie. And cut back on your technology usage. Okay. This could be an entire episode by itself, and this may be the episode that we bring Carp in for. But for time's sake, we're not, I'm just going to give you a couple of reasons why cutting back on technology is a good thing. Okay. Number 1, you will be more present. How many times a day do you stare at your damn phone when you could just be living in the moment? Okay. You cannot be a full force father if you pay more attention to your phone than you do your family. You just can't be. It doesn't qualify you to be a full force father. Okay. You're going to sleep better. You're going to live in the real world versus the virtual world where it's all lies and bullshit anyways. You know that. Let's just be real here. How much of the time on your phone are you actually doing things on your phone? You're probably scrolling Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or this app or that app or whatever. It's all bullshit anyways, dude. It's pictures of people that change the fucking filters to make themselves look better and make up these wild, lavish lies about their life because they want you to feel bad about yourself. That's the fucking, that's the crux of it. Okay.
Yep.
This one, you know what? You're going to be less fat and you're going to be less unhealthy. It's a pretty broad statement. But if you spend more time on your phone than you do doing things in the present day, you will be fat and you will be unhealthy. Okay. It's just the way it is. You'll be in a better mood. And this was a big one for you, Dave. And I wanted to get your take on this because I think it's interesting. And I don't know if you thought about it or not when you looked at the show notes. I bet you if you spend less time on your phone, you will spend less money. There has to be some sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Connection there. I bet you people that spend more time on their phone spend more money.
Sure. There's no doubt about it. I mean, your phones are listening to everything you say all the time, and that's been a proven fact. So you mention something, it's going to come up in whatever you're scrolling. You're sitting there scrolling on your phone, you're going to get an advertisement for it. And sure, I've been victim of it too. I've bought stuff on there. I'm like, oh yeah, this looks good. And you just click buy, it's ridiculous. So yeah, you talk about something or you search something on one of your devices and all the devices are interconnected. And it's like, oh, Dave must really want this. We're going to just pump him full of this until he buys it. Yeah. And that happens all the time. And advertisers make a shit ton of money on it because of that. You mentioned something there and, you're just sitting there scrolling. And I don't know why I thought of this, but like I long for the days when you used to have a landline, right? The landline would come in and you'd have it in one spot in the house before cordless was even a thing. And you had a line attached to the handle, right? And you could only go so far from there. So when you were having a conversation with someone, it was focused. And you could actually focus on having that conversation with the person. You didn't have a phone in this hand and then your cell phone in the other hand. You're just scrolling, not paying any attention whatsoever. You know, you're not taking your phone, you're going off to the side and you're doing 100 other things because, you know, you have the freedom to walk around the house and do other things. You were actually, you know, I remember just sitting down at the dining room table, phone in hand, and just having a conversation with my grandparents. And I kind of long for those days because technology, we're just on it so much. And even when we're on it, you know, if we're using it to communicate with somebody, we're still doing something else. Most of the time, we're always doing something else in addition to the communication factor.
You're absolutely right. You know, it takes away from that's gold right there. The old phone with the cord. You were so present in the conversation that you were having with the old phone versus now, because you and I are guilty of it. We've called each other out on it where we're literally in the middle of a conversation. And I'm like, dude, you're like, Brett, are you even fucking listening to what I'm saying? Or I'm like, Dave, you're not even listening. And it's true though, because you are not there. You are 100% not there. You are not in that moment on that phone call because here you go talking on the phone. Oh wait, just got a text message. Hang on, put you on speakerphone. Now I'm trying to type back to my text message while I'm still trying to talk to you and then pick up the conversation where my brain shut off the conversation and went to the text. I mean, you know, if we all would cut back on technology usage, it would be really, really good. And I love how that all stemmed from you spend less time on your phone, you're going to spend less money. And then, it's just good in general because of the health benefits, less electromagnetic frequencies going through your body, radiation, which, you know, there are studies out there now that do show it lowers the less you're on this, the lower chances of cancer. I mean, it's out there, man. Put your phone away, spend all the time. And even I've been doing it. I've been putting my phone in the other room when I go to bed at night. Like I don't keep it next to me anymore. You know, you sleep better. Do that blue light. You wake up in the middle of the night to check your phone, what time it is. And that blue light stimulates your eyeballs, dude. And you are up. You're up. You're not going back to sleep. So
no doubt.
You know, those are 5 guys. That's 5. Just 5 to kickstart your ass. Create a morning routine. Start reading every day. Clean out your cabinets. Take a look at your finances. Cut back on your technology usage. We could do 100 things. All right. But like I said, that would be like a world record length podcast. That would be like tying all of our podcasts together. That would be like tying all of our podcasts together in one. But like, you know, here's a quick hitter. Drink more water. There's an easy one. Exercise more. There's another one. Spend more time outside in nature. Play with your kids. Take your wife on a date. All right. These are just, you know, just do these things. Just do these things every day. So I don't know what happened to my internet there, guys. Sorry. I just I'm watching Dave on TV and it just froze. But anyways, we're still here. So sorry for the delay. I was in the middle of that sentence and it just went quiet. And that was weird. Dave was stuck in a smile and that was kind of scary.
That's very rare. Am I smiling for that long?
Yes. No. Like, Dave, why are you still smiling and not talking? But anyways, that's our list, guys. Go out there and start just implementing some of these things every single day. Dave, I want you to take this next one. What does our 75 hard update look like? Because what's the exact day? Because you are the one that's now tracking days because my app has been shut off because I'm done with phase 2 and I'm just doing it. What day are we on right now?
Yes. So this is coming out. This is the February 21st is when this is going to hit.
Yep.
Right. And we talked about it the other day that the last day of 75 hard is March the 19th. So we're under 30 days, somewhere under 30 days left.
So we're over 50 days. We've broken broken the 50-day mark.
Oh yeah, we're over 50 days. We're under 30. We're getting real close, which is great. It's been an interesting ride for me. I've grown a lot in this version of 75 hard that we've done, and I'm grateful for the extra challenges that were a part of it. It certainly made it hard. This was the hardest one I've been through. I was talking to somebody about it at work the other day, and they're like, "Oh, what day are you on?" And I forget what day it was. It was in the 40s, and it was, you know, at this point, there's no fucking it up now. Like, she's just like, hey, did you ever have to restart? And I was like, I've restarted 75 hard in the past. This my second time through it. I restarted a couple times in it. The first time I didn't. And I said, this time I haven't. And I said, once I get past like the midway point, it's game on. Like there's nothing that could possibly happen that's going to knock me out of it. Sort of mentality. So
yeah. If you stick to your daily routine and no life altering circumstances happen, once you get over day 40, you don't usually find a way unless you're looking for a way out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, same here. No, nothing usual, unusual. I mean, just plugging along. So, book recommendation comes from you today, sir.
It is, and it is called. Can you see it? My light's not destroying it too bad. It's called Quitter by John Acuff. And this is a book I read when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life and the dream job that I wanted to have. It's a great book. I'm just going to give you a few kind of bullet points on it. But it's talking about like, if you've got a passion, you need to find that passion and go after it. But what a lot of people do is they quit too early. They quit their normal job, their 9 to 5 too early before they're ready to actually make that leap. And then that's when problems happen and you end up hating it or you can't survive on it and you got to go back to another job that you hate. So the first main point is don't quit while you're looking for your dream job. Figure it out, put yourself in a position, then go get it. And another one that was interesting, another point was identifying what's called a hinge moment. He calls it a hinge moment. And it's when you look back on times in your life where you did something that you truly loved to do. What was it? What brought you the most joy? And how can you turn that into a dream job for yourself, whether that be going to work for an actual company doing it or creating your own thing. And if it is creating your own thing, he says to hustle in the morning. We talk about morning routines all the time, right? How it's important to get started in the morning. He says hustle in the morning. Get up and get going before anyone else is doing anything. And the reason for this is he wants you to focus on that hustle early in the day so that you don't spend all day thinking about it, being anxious and thinking like, I can't wait to get back to my passion tonight. And you end up losing focus during your day and not getting your actual job done. So it just kind of exponentially makes it worse. So get up, get going on that hustle or whatever it may be in the morning. And then another piece that I thought that was important, and we talk about it with goals all the time too, is define what enough actually means to you before you reach it. So define what it is you're trying to do. Okay. Whether it is job, you're trying to make a certain salary or you want this particular job. Like when I was at ESPN, I really wanted to be a director. That's what I wanted to do. So when you reach that goal, take a step back and actually enjoy it. Process that moment. How does it feel? What work went into it? We've talked about too, like your goals can change. Once you hit goals, new goals can come. But really take stock of it. Do you want your goal to change? Is this where you want to be? Like the job that you have, is that where you're happy? Is that company where you're happy? And identify those things, and that'll help you determine what your dream is. And once you've reached what your dream was, is it still your dream or has that changed? So Quitter by John Acuff. It's a good one. If you're in a period of your life where you hate your job and you're looking for something different, this would be a good one to pick up.
Sounds good. Yeah, guys, that's episode 50. I hope you liked our little UConn history lesson to go along with some tips here on how to kickstart your spring in gear and get the hell out of the final dog days of winter here and get going. Don't be a quitter.
Don't be a quitter. That's right. Well, listen, everybody, thanks for checking us out on episode 50. We're closing in on a year. We're happy that you're here with us. Continue to like, share, comment on the show. Get it out to as many dads as you can. And we will see you on episode 51.